heard, my name is Rashida Abdulai, and I stand here today both as a lawyer with over 9 years' experience in international arbitration at one of the world's largest law firms, but also as an entrepreneur, having recently founded Strand Sahara, which is an online legal services platform for African SMEs. My new role is testament to my belief that lawyers have a crucial role to play in the development and success of SMEs across Africa. And over the next 8 minutes, I want to share with you why that is the case, and importantly, what lawyers can do to rise to that challenge. So why does small business matter? Well, as we've already heard, the vast majority of private sector businesses, I would say 99.9%, across Africa and indeed most of the world, are micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. They are the engine of the economy. They provide the vast majority of jobs, and they're key contributors to the GDP of the countries in which they operate. We all know that Africa is one of the world's fastest growing regions. Its population, which already exceeds 1 billion, is projected to more than double by 2050. This increased labor pool needs to have access to jobs. If jobs do not materialize, the mass unemployment that will result will be highly destabilizing. So private sector expansion through the scaling up of SMEs is critical to achieving the job creation and economic growth that is required in Africa over the next few decades. And the good news is that there's no shortage of entrepreneurial energy across Africa. When I first started working in West Africa, one of the things that struck me was the immense side hustle culture. I don't know if that will mean anything to some of you in the room, but everyone I met, from the young man on the side of the road to the young professionals in the multinationals, they all were CEOs of their own businesses that they hoped would one day grow to become the next Dangote Group or ShopRite. And I applaud that. Thank you. With a market of more than 1 billion people, an abundance of nascent industries, and expanding trade links, the scale of opportunities for businesses, SME businesses in Africa is great. And there are already tens of millions of SMEs in this rapidly growing market. So what are the stumbling blocks hindering their success? Chatham House released a report last year which summarized the results of over 60 interviews with SME business owners in Nigeria, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia, and about the constraints facing company growth in these countries. I wonder if that's my phone. I'll move that timer there. Now, although those 4 countries all have very different political economies, there were some common factors between them. The common theme was that the business climate is incredibly tough. As we saw earlier in Letitia's presentation, operating costs are high due to infrastructure deficiencies, such as electricity, lack of electricity, I should say, and reliable transport systems. And there was also reported a shortage of skilled management staff. It's clear that capital is what's needed to overcome these challenges and to enable businesses to make investment for growth. But SMEs face an acute lack of access to finance because bank loans are prohibitively expensive in most cases, and private investment is often out of reach. Now, looking specifically from a legal point of view, the African SMEs interviewed, and those I personally have spoken with over the past year, identify 3 key legal challenges they face, all of which touch on issues of corporate governance. First, they are undervalued. Too few SMEs are in a position to pass the due diligence test that is required to access private investment, and this is often due to inadequate legal record keeping and business structures. They do not always understand the importance and benefits of incorporating the business, benefits we've heard about earlier, and in order to prepare the business for growth. And as we just heard from Tunde, failure to do so reduces the value of the business, as potential investors or lenders will not have the reassurance that they need that their investment in the business will be protected. Second, they complain that they're uninformed. SME business owners are often uninformed or don't understand basic corporate governance requirements, such as choosing the right legal structure for the business, entering into appropriate agreements with shareholders and directors and indeed key employees, and they struggle to comply and keep up to date with statutory requirements on a national, regional, and international level where that is appropriate. This also extends to other legal issues, such as basic legal business protections. These include things like adequate trading contracts, employment agreements, and IP protections. Again, these all reduce the value of the business and the ability of the business to attract investment and achieve growth. Third and finally, they complain that they're underserved. Commercial legal services are often perceived by African SME owners as inconvenient to access, poor value for money, and slow. This is all with the result that legal assistance is not sought until the 11th hour, if at all. They complain that finding credible legal support is time-consuming because it's not easy to verify who has the relevant experience or expertise. They complain that it takes too long to get the problem solved and that they have to keep chasing for their work. They wish there was a transparent and tiered pricing structure with specific legal services and products they can pick and choose from. Instead, they're often not sure how much it will cost them to have their issue resolved, and it's usually more than they were expecting. So what is the role of lawyers to help overcome these challenges? First, to move from being undervalued to highly valued, there's no doubt that SMEs need commercial legal services to help them get fit for finance and prepare for growth. They require assistance with achieving maximum value for their products and services through the establishment of an appropriate legal structure for the business, which in most cases means incorporating as a limited company and the establishment of appropriate supporting documentation, such as shareholders' agreements, establishing a board, and keeping company books. In addition, they require assistance with the creation of tailor-made commercial contracts and service agreements which accurately reflect the way they do business and which allocate risk adequately between the parties. They need to understand the value of their intellectual property and how to protect and monetize it. They also require company secretarial support to help them comply with company law and benefit from the advantages of good corporate governance, as we heard earlier from Letitia. Second, to move SMEs from uninformed to sophisticated, there is a need for lawyers to educate SME business owners on the importance of these services. This will require us to be more proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for clients to come to us after problems have already arisen, perhaps we need to think about creating products and services which are designed to help businesses diagnose the legal health of their business before any problems occur. We can then show them the gaps that exist and provide the products and services they need to plug those gaps. Third and finally, we need to address the fact that SMEs are currently underserved. And that's not just a problem in Africa, it's a problem all around the world. We need to find ways to make them more easily accessible, our legal services more easily accessible, transparent, and more affordable for small businesses. Now, I know this is easier said than done. As lawyers, we have a tradition of providing legal services on a one-to-one consultative basis, under which we charge clients for our time. And our time isn't cheap, nor should it be. Legal expertise is valuable, and after years of study and working experience, it comes at a premium. But this premium has consequences, and the truth is that many SME business owners have to run the risk of running their business without legal support because they cannot afford lawyers. One solution is for lawyers to leverage technology to create systems and tools that can provide legal solutions and support across the internet, allowing SMEs to tap into our legal insight and services in a more convenient, transparent, and less costly manner. If we are to give the SMEs the help they need, lawyers will need to adopt these new technologies and use our creative abilities to find new, innovative ways to make legal services more affordable and accessible for smaller businesses. The opportunities here are endless, and I believe now is the perfect time for more entrepreneurial lawyers across Africa to come forward and improve our profession for the better.